Greetings. I hope your search goes well.
Okay, so now let's craft.
Would you craft something for me?
Of course.
And so it's the lower of the two swords. So it was steel sword because we started off with whichever one was at the top. So we did cat school silver. That means we still have cat school steel. And just to confirm, we needed a couple of enriched dimeridium ingots still. Okay, 2 ingots. 2 ingots, you say? Okay, and we need the enriched dimeridium ore, and this is the stuff that requires the acid extract. We now have almost 50 of. So that's good. It sounds like a lot, but we go through it so quickly that I'm still not sure if that's going to be enough. Because we need more here. Okay, so now that's enough for the sword. And it's steel, yeah. Here we go. Okay, so let's do this. So we now have a full cat school set. So I think let's lead off with that.
Farewell.
Good luck on
There
the path.
is an achievement for equipping the full set simultaneously. I thought you had a nice place to sort of like go over in the sunlight next to a window and a mirror and admire your new armor, but maybe that was from the other people. It's like, this is dark and not a good place to test it out. So let's go now. I mean, the swords are not really going to change the aesthetic of this, right? But we'll go full feline here. That's one of the swords. I'm looking for the other feline. It's here. And there is the achievement. Dressed to kill. Now, unfortunately, of course, we're outside in the middle of the city, so we can't really unsheath those swords, otherwise the guards are going to be mad at us. But, we are now in full cat mode. And that does mean that, in theory, if we wanted to continue with this, then we would get now rear attacks dealing 50% more damage and also stunning enemies for 1 adrenaline point. Which does sound nifty. I think the primary reason why we didn't opt to immediately go with the cat school swords was because they just had lower base damage than things like Erendite and whatever we had on the steel side. So it was I mean, it's a matter of preference, personal preference, I suppose. You know, how much do you value? I mean, I suppose you could crunch the numbers. Like 50% is a pretty huge boost, right? So if you are truthfully, regularly hitting people from behind and getting that 50% increased damage, then probably does become higher than the alternative, yes. But it's less consistent because, you know, you have to hit people from behind to make it work. And so I can certainly see situations in which we kind of force the issue and get really sloppy and take a bunch of hits that we shouldn't be taking just because we're focusing more on actually getting behind the enemy than we are on dodging their hits and getting attacks in when we can get attacks in. So that's, I think, the primary reason why we did not immediately go for those. And I think for that reason we will also switch back here. But full cat school. Now, should we go Griffin now, or do we want to make as many sets as possible first and then just go immediately from one to the other to the other? Maybe we try Griffin out now. See, that's wolf armor, so that's not it. But let's start with just the base stuff, or the base colors, and then we'll see if we want to change it from there. So it is by default sort of this off green. Okay. It is very sort of swamp green. And I don't know if it's this lighting or what, but it is also oddly glowy. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't love the coloration. I mean, at least it's like it's relatively consistent. I feel like it was more consistent in the lower levels where it was almost purely this off color green. But now that it's Grandmaster, it's got more of this blue trim, which doesn't work quite as well with it, I don't think. Or at least it gets a little over the top. A little messy, in my opinion. So you say, what if we try going red? That does look nifty. This is black. Oh, that's on the... Yeah, that's a chest plate. Okay. It doesn't really look black. It just looks like a very dark navy blue almost. Maybe it's just the lighting. White? Nah, definitely not. Purple? And maybe if you went full purple. But I could almost see that working. This one looks very similar to the black. And the green is like just the slightest difference from the base amount. I mean, I actually do prefer this. Looks more like a natural green than the puke green of the original. Then pink is... Yeah, it seems like any color you go with here is sort of getting muted by the base color of this armor. Except for that one. That one's pretty bright. That one's pretty bright. Definitely too bright, in my opinion. No thank you on that either. Or that. That just looks kind of dull to me. And this is also on the bright side. Maybe if you went full out blue, you could kind of make it work. But I think we're just basing off of the chest plate here. Ones that look the coolest to me are... Yeah, I do kind of like the way that you go with the red armor. You still have that blue in there that complements it nicely. The red, blue, and gold. Is that kind of what we did for our color scheme on Roach? It's mostly blue and white, but there is a little bit of red in it. Yeah, red, blue, white, which is deliberately what we went with on the cat school armor for that reason. But we go red. Like, we don't necessarily even have to go all the same color, right? I do kind of like mixing it up every now and again to sort of make the pieces contrast a little bit more. I did like making the... Oh, let's put those back on. I was like, what? Why did the pants get so light colored? I did kind of like making the pants contrast a bit. It's like maybe making them a more neutral. I do generally like having a dark color on the shirt or chest plate, dark color on boots and potentially gloves, and then having a light colored pants, because then I feel like it just makes the chest plate pop out much more. It does look kind of regal. Let's just see. Like purple, I doubt it, but yeah, no. Red on other stuff. That's pretty bright on the boots. What if we go... Let's go red boots. White trousers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Then my question is, do we go white gloves to sort of match with the pants, or do we go with red gloves to match with the boots and the chest plate? I think you go red. I think you go red. I think I like this. I think I like this the most. Yeah, don't need to commit on the all red, but at least look at it. Okay, so let's go with that. And then this is what all red would be. That's just a little too much for me. I just feel like it doesn't stand out quite as much when everything is entirely the same. And, you know, it is helpful. It is definitely helpful that there's that blue trim built in. That does break up the colors a bit, but it's still just a little too monochromatic for me. There's some gold as well, of course, but that doesn't contrast quite as much with the red, because they're both sort of hot colors. So for me, I think I still prefer the white pants, because in doing so, then it really makes the chest plate stand out. I mean, this is like a bright red. Whereas if you have red pants as well, then the pants and the chest plate just kind of blend together and doesn't make them quite as quite as prominent, I don't think. I mean, that is true. From a practical standpoint, it makes no sense. That is absolutely correct. White pants are so impractical. They would get stained so quickly, what with all the monsters Geralt fights and, you know, the swamps we go trekking through and what have you. But I mean, at least as we see things here, I wish it would zoom out a little bit more, but I do like it. I do like it. So there's our Griffin set. And just remind me what the actual bonuses inventory. Here we go. What are the actual bonuses for having a 4-piece Griffin set? Or is it 2-piece or 4-piece? That's the first one. It's a 3-piece. And then the full set. So after using stamina to cast a sign in its standard mode, next sign cast within 3 seconds will be cast in standard mode without using stamina. Okay, so you can go and string a bunch of signs together. Size of Yrden traps is increased by 40% while you are within a Yrden trap. Stamina regeneration is increased by 5 per second and sign intensity by 100%. Damage is reduced, so basically just Yrden becomes your safe place. Is basically the gist of it. Does sound pretty good. I mean, the full set bonuses for Cat School seemed really good as well. But, okay. So that's Griffin School. Check it out. Oh, good call. Good call. We did deliberately try to make it match with Roach. Oh, man. That's interesting. Let's get over in the sun. Yeah, like if we had red pants, I feel like it wouldn't pop as much with our blue saddle on Roach. I feel like the white pants are key here on Roach in particular, because then you have the white is kind of the intermediary between the red and the blue. They're right next to each other. It's kind of the same thing we see on the actual saddle on Roach as well. So yeah, I like it. I like it. It's sort of like the inverse of what we did on the Cat School, because we still had the white pants, but we also went with well, in the Cat School stuff we went with a more blue centric top, whereas with the obviously Griffin School we went with the red, but it has blue complements.
Greetings. I hope your search goes well.
Okay, so now let's see.
What do you have?
This is where things get a little bit more uncertain as to how feasible it is going to be for us to actually make full sets of the other armor. I think what we'll try to do is, yes, deliberately prioritize armor over swords, so that way, I mean, I don't really think we're ever going to be using the swords from other schools. And I think we're much more likely to use the Witcher School stuff on our armor stands in Corvo Bianco than we are to display our swords at Corvo Bianco. So I think for those reasons, it is better for us to instead prioritize the armor specifically. And if we have the money for them, then like we certainly could, but we'll see. So I think we were, what's our list of priorities here? So we've done Cat, we've done Griffin. Those were priorities 1 and 2. Then the line gets a little more blurry from here. So I think probably aren't going to wear any of these armors ourselves, in which case I think it's almost purely for aesthetic purposes. And so we haven't really seen any of these thus far. And we don't have anything for the other armor sets, except for I think we have a Wolf School chest plate that is master crafted. Maybe we start by upgrading our master crafted Wolf School chest plate into a Grandmaster, because that one is a little bit further along. But I am intrigued by Manticore because that's the newest one and we don't really have much experience at all with it. Let's see. So Grandmaster Wolf School. So is it going to look like, say, what we saw Lambert or Eska wearing? based on the preview here, it's for some reason giving me Eskel vibes. So yeah, similar story here. Infused Lizard Hide and Enriched Dimeritium Plate are definitely going to be the go-to things. So, oh, well, we're still crafted. Just a different area. So it's 2 and 2, right? That means more of this. And then use these to make this. And use this to make that. That's round 1. 4 of these total, right? Make 2 of these. And make that. Okay, so all done with Dimeritium Plate. Then we need Infused Lizard Hide. Was this 2 as well? I think it was. We're going to run out of Cured Draconid Leather eventually. If we didn't need 2 for this, then we are going to need Cured Draconid Leather for probably future upgrades anyway. So, not a huge issue if we do that preemptively. So now, yeah, Grandmaster Wolf School. Let's try this. I mean, it's an homage to Geralt's past, right? Or with him being a Wolf School Witcher and all. The most appropriate in that sense. Okay, so we got the Grandmaster chest armor for that already, so that is nice. Then we don't have to go all the way through, starting from just the base one. In fact, how far back does Wolf School go? Oh! Yeah, Wolf School just goes straight to Grandmaster for the other stuff. Yeah, I think all the more reason to go Wolf School next is probably going to be considerably cheaper than the other ones. Oh, I suppose Manticore would be the same story as well, because there aren't lower levels of Manticore either. But Bear School is going to be the most expensive in that case. So, once again, yes, Lizard Hide and Rich Dimeritium Plate. Oh, and once again, that still means we're still in this part here. So let's go here. Oh, hold on. Got moved a little bit there. This is what we're looking for, though. And we need more of those lizard hides. Okay, so that should be everything that we need for the... What was that we were looking at first? The boots? There we go. Okay, yeah, and the Wolf School was sort of the middle ground in that it takes a little bit of the bonuses from all the different other types of schools. It's even medium armor, so it's middle ground in that sense as well. Okay, so we got the boots now. Then that means next on the list would be gauntlets. And these are usually the cheapest. Yeah, because it's Lizard Hide, true, but only 1 Dimeritium ingot, okay. Over here. So this. Still doing okay on those acid extracts, although we're actually going to run out of orichalcum ore. That's surprisingly expensive. But we might have some stuff we can break down to get more of that. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be something we could buy several rounds of. Yeah, from this guy if we absolutely needed to. Okay. And we're doing pretty well from a money standpoint, by the looks of things here. But like we were saying, we were, at least in this case, deliberately going with the cheaper option to start off with, delaying the Bear School stuff. Okay, so that's gloves, and now it'll just be trousers will be the last piece here. And I have to imagine similar story. Ooh, although, are there actually lower levels of Wolf School trousers that we need to upgrade from? No, thankfully not. Okay, for a second there, I thought there might have been. So, Lizard Hide and plate. Okay, sure. Same idea. Make some of that. And once again, it did it to us. This is what we want. Thank you. And this is what we want. And that should be it in terms of pieces we need to get to a full, at least, armor set. Not weapons, but armor set for Wolf School. Okay. There we go. Now, perhaps we take a look outside and see what this looks like.
Good luck on the path.
Okay, so start off with the just base set here. And like I said, I'm curious to see if this looks like other Wolf School Witcher friends. Like, that absolutely is the armor that Eskel uses, right? That makes sense. This is definitely what Eskel used. Maybe Lambert as well? Okay, so this is the base version, uncolored. It has a lot of gray or silver, and a fair bit of red or brown. It's a lot more neutral colors. Let's see, color-wise, what we might want here. For that reason, we might deliberately go with more neutral colors and on the dyes as well. Like, black is actually not bad. Kind of like the black pants, because that way it sort of does more to complement the darker component of the chest plate, and then you still have a little bit of that lighter brownish red, both in the sort of undershirt and on the knee pads. That's kind of cool. I doubt this is going to work. Yeah, I don't think the white's going to work with this set. Out of curiosity, is there any chance purple could work? Or if you really wanted to, you could swap out the reddish stuff with purple stuff. Does feel a little out of place here. Gray, I may be on the chest plate, but I think this one, generally speaking, is going to work best with the darker colors. Oh, that's interesting. This time it goes for the top half, not the lower half. And we're going green. Pink. Not this time. This one, definitely not. That it also seems way too bright. Orange. It's, in some cases, with the chest plate at least, it's not that much of a change, and you can maybe make that work. Curious how much of a difference brown makes. Probably very little. Makes the pants a little bit lighter. But that's like, feels like it's not even worth it at that point. The blue. Nah. I don't know. I think I was kind of feeling the, was it the black pants? Yeah, I think the black pants are best here. Not sure. I think we start with this. There might be other ways to make it, like black gloves potentially as well. That might be a little too much. That might be a little too much. I feel like the gloves, if anything, should be doing more to complement the chest plate. That's maybe slightly too red. What if we go brown gloves? That's maybe marginally better. Red shoes, maybe? Again, it just feels like it's slightly too red. Slightly too red to me. It just needs to be halfway in between what it is right now and what the red is that we're seeing here in order to match with the chest plate. Chest plate is just kind of this hard, not quite red. This red that's kind of hard to match because it's not exactly an all-out red. It's not brown entirely either. somewhere in between. And so, if you have a red, those reds feel too red. If you have a brown, those browns feel too brown. Yeah, I think this might actually be best. Yeah, that is actually, that's a pretty red chest plate. We didn't color that, did we? This is just the default color? Did we? Yeah, I've gone over in the wrong part. No, we did not change the red on the chest plate. That's just the way it starts out. Let's check it out on Roach. This would be an armor that I feel like, if we were to do this, we would want to switch Roach's saddle, because we did deliberately pick up some alternatives in case we were to go to a more muted chest, armor set in total. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it definitely has a totally different feel to it. It's much more subtle. Much more subtle, and I think for that reason we wouldn't want as vibrant colors on Roach either. But it does work. It can work. It's just a very different style, very different approach. You know, you look more like you're blending in with the other Witchers in the game, in this case, whereas the stuff that we did on the Griffin School and the Cat School armor, we look much more like we are a unique character. We are the protagonist. Whereas, you know, if we were wearing this and hanging out at Kaer Morhen, you could barely tell us apart from Eskel and Lambert. Let's see if we can afford any other sets here.
Search goes well.
I think at this point, it's not so much the base money that's the question.
What do you have on offer?
The problem is going to quickly become the crafting materials. So, next on our list, I think is probably going to be Manticore, because we should be able to go straight into the Grandmaster stuff for that, and not have to worry about, you know, first making the lowest level, and then the second level, and the third level, and Grandmasters at least the fourth. So, for that reason, let's see. Where are... Is it just Manticore? It doesn't even say Grandmaster? Yeah, it just says Manticore, because it knows these are the only Manticore gear. The only Manticore sets. Oh, look at that. It actually doesn't require infused Draconid stuff. Only the cured Draconid leather. That's actually a little bit cheaper. Okay. Still Diameridium plate, yes. Oh, but not enriched. Oh. Okay. It looks like Manticore, generally speaking, does just require slightly lower level stuffs. It's a normal Diameridium plate. Normal Diameridium plate. Let's see. And we have more than enough stuff to make that. For sure. Okay. I keep on doing this. So that may mean that Manticore actually turns out to be relatively inexpensive here. And I very much do not know what to expect in terms of the aesthetics on Manticore, because, I mean, it's not like we've used it ourselves, nor have we seen anyone who's a Manticore Witcher, because they're very new. Yeah, but it just seems strange to me how all the Toussaint Knight things and Ducal Guard and what have you, they're higher levels than the Witcher School Grandmaster stuff, and Grandmaster stuff is supposed to be the best in the game, right? Or at least way up there. And these are, like, the Toussaint Knight stuff, Toussaint Ducal Guard stuff. Those are all random pieces of gear that we find pretty regularly just off of, you know, sometimes even just bandits, I think. So that seems odd that, you know, you could get what at least as a base item is at times better than the Witcher School gear. I mean, Witcher School stuff still comes with probably better other stats that make up for that. But let's see. So now we're looking at another round of Manticore. And again, it's just Diameridium plate, okay? It's not enriched. So I am liking that a lot. That is definitely cheaper. We are going to start running low on the oh, is it, it's actually below this. Can start running low on the lizard hides or pure dragon leathers. whichever one it was. We need 2 of these, right? I think. If not, then, well, we're just paying in advance for the next piece of gear we go with. Okay. Yep. That's good. And so the Manticore set was increasing the maximum toxicity. So if you're going with an alchemy build, then in theory, that is your set. And we did start to do a lot more alchemy. I don't know if it's enough for it to really be worth it for us. Okay, now we got the gloves. And in this case, whoa! Don't even need to do any stuff to prepare. It's just, we got everything ready to go. That's cool. Then in the case of the chest plate, or not chest plate, trousers, it will be... Yeah, cured draconid leather, okay. Is that the... No, it's cured draconid leather, not the infused, okay. So that is... Don't remember if we can craft that or not. And then diamond radium plate, okay. So we just ran out. We can. Okay, it's actually not bad to make. It's not that bad. Got plenty of those materials in. It's not too expensive. Yeah, I'm liking the lack of super expensive crafting materials that it requires you to make the Manticore stuff. Makes it a much easier one to just kind of add on and not feel like you're committing hardcore to go in this route. And that is already a full Manticore set, I believe.
Farewell.
Good luck on the path.
Yeah, it does seem like they want you to have enough time to experiment with the Grandmaster stuff, and we did wait a little bit. It took us a little while to get it all, so we didn't have a lot of time to test it out. Certainly not to, experiment with different kinds of it. But maybe we'll do a little bit of that later on. Okay, so Manticore is new to us. Let's see what this looks like. I have no idea. I don't know what to expect. Oh. Huh. It looks very Toussaint-esque. It does not surprise me to see that this is from... that this only becomes available once you're in Toussaint. It almost looks like a... I mean, it has that sort of, that French-ish Toussaint style to it, but it also almost reminds me a little bit of a cowboy Wild West feel as well. Let's see what we might want to do to change the colors on this. It already has some nice contrasting colors here. I like how you have the dark, just sort of like the actual chest part of the chest plate, and then your sleeves are white. So that makes the chest plate just stand out more. But oh yeah, like if you color the chest plate, I do not like that it also covers the sleeves with that same color. I feel like that's taken away what was otherwise an interesting component. Yeah, okay, I mean, in some cases, there's still a little bit of a difference between the colors of the main chest component and the sleeves. But even if that is the case, can't say I like it. Like, that looks atrocious. Why would you want neon sleeves and a puke-colored chest? I don't know. What about this? Oh, okay. Yeah, still not great. Yeah, oh, okay. Now that's the first one that I feel like is decent. This now gives me Star Wars vibes. This is giving me Star Wars vibes at this point. I don't know. I feel like either base or blue in this case. Blue is generally more muted, more subdued, so much more subtle. It doesn't scream I'm a Witcher and I'm the protagonist, unlike our Manticore stuff did, our Cat School stuff did. So it's not like secret agent, you know, what was it? The New Moon gear, where it is just all jet black and very little additional ornamentation on it, so it, you know, quite literally just supposed to blend in. You think, yeah, let's just see what the other changing around the colors on the other pieces might do, because yeah, like look at that. Keeping the default chest plate, but going with the black pants. I do like that. I do like that. Let's experiment a bit more with the pants. That is, it's interesting. It is, certainly eye-catching. That does not look green at all. But if we were to go with the blue chest plate, then I feel like this might be the color for the pants. Again, sort of going for that subtle, earthy tone. This looks more blue than the... Or, well, I guess that was green before, but that is way too bright. So is that. That's not a big change, but could also be something that could work if we were to go with the blue chest plate. Oh, wow. And this looks very different. You get the blue on the sides, but that is definitely not blue on the interior. So the blue does intrigue me a bit, just with how different it looks compared to the others. But if we are sticking with the black chest plate, then I definitely think the black pants would be the way to go. Let's see what the black boots look like. I do kind of like the black boots. If we were to go with a lighter colored pants, then I think the black boots could work. About gloves, I do kind of like black gloves as well, if we are to stick with the black chest plate. Black boots and shoes. I feel like if we're going with the default chest plate, I feel like we go black everything else. Except maybe I did like the pants. Just not sure if we go pants and boots, that might be a little bit too much black. That does look good, though. What are the... Out of curiosity, if we go... Again, talk about impracticality. If we go, like, black pants and then black gloves, and just to get a little bit of light colors worked in, we go white boots. Gloves already seem dark enough. How much of it... It doesn't change much if we go with the black gloves. That is true. So if we lock in those pants, and then let's just see. Yeah, it is. I feel like it's a little too much just black for me. I feel like you want a little bit more to contrast on the lower half of the body. Just doesn't. There isn't much that pops out. You go that route. I might even prefer no colors on the boots. Out of curiosity, I mean, that barely changes anything. Or you could deliberately go for something really crazy, like glowy boots. I do kind of like the brown boots. They don't change much, but I think they change enough that it just makes the boots stand out a little bit more. Because I think when you have this much black, you need something else that kind of also becomes an important component. Something else to draw the attention. So I actually think that, crazy as it sounds, some of these exotic colored boots, some of these really dramatically colored boots, they kind of work. You know, it's basically like a deliberately, you know, emphasizing the shoes types of thing. But I'd say the one that looks the most... Like, that's kind of crazy. But one that's sort of a middle ground is definitely this brown here. What was the red again? It was one of the dramatic ones. Definitely... Oh, nope, that's pants. I don't know. Of the various vibrant colors, I don't think red is that high on my list, to tell you the truth. What did I prefer? Kind of like the purple. The white is kind of crazy. I actually kind of like the pink. I kind of like the... What are we calling this? Cyan? Yellow is a little too much for me. Probably same with the orange. Brown is subtle, but can work, and the blue potentially works as well. Maybe original, though? Yeah, I think this may just be, generally speaking, kind of like the Wolf School. A little bit more of a subtle set. You know, you have the more flamboyant Griffin School, Cat School, and then this is the more, like, you know, just blending in with the crowd stuff with the... this for sure, the Manticore, and then to a slightly lesser extent, the Wolf School as well. Let's see what this looks like. I think this would be another one where, like the Wolf School, we would probably switch Roach's set and give her more, like, black or just generally darker saddle. Because this doesn't really work with the white and red and blue. This looks like Roach is not our horse in this situation. That's Manticore. Yeah, it's true we're not going to wear it anyway in all likelihood.